The world of Danmachi is shrouded in mystery. Even now, no one fully understands how it truly operates. What we do know is that long ago, gods resided in heaven, watching over the mortal realm. For the longest time, the gods paid little attention to the mortal world, leaving humanity to solve its own problem. But then, the dungeon came into existence. No one knows how or why it appeared. The dungeon, however, feels alive. It spawns monsters endlessly, as if driven by a purpose. Perhaps it's a defense mechanism, or maybe it exists to oppose something far greater. Within the dungeon, monsters form and grow stronger the deeper one ventures. The further you descend, the greater the threat becomes. Naturally, one might imagine that at the deepest depths of the dungeon lies a being unlike any other, a monster that serves as the dungeon's heart. If the dungeon itself is a mother, then whatever resides on the lowest floor must be its core. But in time, the monsters began to rise. Drawn to the light, they ascended the dungeon, seeking the surface and threatening the world of the living. Humanity stood no chance against the creatures born from the dungeon's depths. Desperate to contain them, humans constructed barriers and buildings atop the dungeon's entrance. Yet, time and time again, these defenses crumbled. From the depths of the dungeon emerged three legendary creatures: Behemoth, the Leviathan, and the Black Dragon, the greatest monsters to ever walk the world. The quests to defeat them became known as the Three Great Quests. How monsters are born and the forms they take in the dungeon remain unknown, but it has long been believed that the Three Great Quests have existed for as long as the dungeon itself. As a result, these monsters came to be known as the Three Ancient Monsters. Around this time, one of the most important figures and the strongest adventurer of all time emerged. Albert Waldstein challenged the Black Dragon and succeeded in claiming one of its eyes. From that day, the beast became known as the One-Eyed Black Dragon. The gods above, and moved by humanity's suffering, chose to descend. One by one, they left the heavens and stepped into the mortal realm. Among them was Ouranous. Upon his descent, Ouranous established the guild and created a sacred space, the Chamber of Prayers. There, he devotes himself to suppressing the monsters within the dungeon, though it binds him to the chamber, unable to leave. The other gods took a different path. They formed familias, groups of adventurers tasked with exploring and conquering the dungeon. To aid them, the gods bestowed their Falna, a divine blessing that grants adventurers supernatural strengths, the ability to wield magic, and develop unique skills. Through battle, adventurers accumulate exilia, allowing them to grow stronger and ascend to greater heights. To replace the fragile structures built by humans, the gods erected Babel, a towering fortress that now stands as the gateway to the dungeon. Rising 50 floors high, the uppermost levels of Babel serve as private chambers for the gods who watch over the mortals. During this era, the Zeus and Hera Familias reigned as the most powerful in the world, holding dominance for over 1,000 years since their descent. Together, they pushed deeper into the dungeon than any others before or after them. These two familias achieved what few believed possible. They conquered 2 of the 3 great quests, defeating both the Leviathan and the Behemoth. However, their attempt to slay the One-Eyed Black Dragon ended in disaster. Both familias were decimated, leaving only Zald of the Zeus Familia and Althea of the Hera Familia as survivors. Broken and unable to continue, the Zeus and Hera Familias disbanded. In their place, new powers emerged, the Loki Familia and the Freya Familia, now recognized as the strongest familias in the world. Following the tragic defeat of the Zeus and Hera Familias, Zeus mysteriously faked his death for reasons unknown. With their absence, the Loki and Freya familias rose to prominence, taking on the responsibility of conquering the dungeon's depth. The Zeus and Hera familias hold the record for the deepest dive into the dungeon. Officially, the guild reports that they reached the 59th floor. However, they actually descended to the 71st floor. The guild conceals this to prevent discouragement among adventurers, presenting floor 59 as a more attainable goal. Cranel is then born to this world. Wallenstein joins the Loki Familia at the age of 7. Starting at level 1, shatters records by reaching level 2 within a single year, the fastest anyone has ever achieved this feat. She continues her ascent, reaching level 3 in another year and level 4 after an additional year and a half, spending a total of 3.5 years to attain level 4. Many strong members joined the Loki Familia, such as Finn, who would eventually be chosen as the captain. He is a master strategist, and all of the Familia's expeditions heavily rely on his tactics. Reveria and Gareth are among the strongest adventurers alive. Reveria, a 99-year-old elf, is known for her immense magical prowess, while Gareth, a dwarf, possesses extraordinary physical capability. The Familia's executives include the sisters Tiona and Tione, along with Bete and Lafia, who is an apprentice of Reveria. The Freya Familia is also home to powerful adventurers, including Ottar, a level 7 adventurer who was once trained by members of the Zeus and Hera Familia. The Familia's executives consist of Alan, Hogni, Hedin, and the Gulliver brothers. Horn plays an important role within the Familia, and Heith, one of the strongest, if not the strongest, healers in all of Orario, has also become a vital member. As the Loki and Freya familias grow stronger, other familias begin rising to challenge them. One of these is the Hestia Familia, led by the goddess Hestia, the goddess of justice. Their captain is Elise Lovell, and the Familia's executives include Ryu, Kaguya, Nezi, and Lyra. The Ganesha Familia is led by the god Ganesha. Their captain is Shakti, and the Familia specializes in maintaining public order and organizing monster taming events in Orario. Ganesha seeks members who are strong and disciplined, often recruiting adventurers with a sense of justice and duty, and more importantly, they should have a lot of energy. The Apollo Familia is led by the god Apollo, with Hyacinthos serving as the captain. Its members include Lissos, Daphne, and Cassandra. Apollo selects his familia members based on their beauty. The Miach Familia is led by the god Miach, with Nyaza as their captain. They focus on creating medicines to help the citizens of Orario. The Hephaestus Familia is a smith-type familia led by the goddess Hephaestus. Their captain is Tsubaki, and one of their notable members is Wealth. The familia prioritizes recruiting individuals skilled in the art of blacksmithing. The Takemikazuchi Familia is led by the god Takemikazuchi, with Uke serving as the captain. Members include Shigusa and Yamato Mikoto. Takemikazuchi selects those eager to learn martial arts. The Ishtar Familia is led by the goddess Ishtar. Their captain is Fryn, and the executives are Ayesha, Samira, Lena. The Soma Familia is led by the god Soma, with Xanus as the captain. Lily serves as a supporter, and Canu is an executive. Soma shows little interest in his familia. He only works to create drinks. The Hermes Familia is led by the god Hermes, with Asphi as the captain. Members include Vulgar and Lulun. After the Zeus and Hera familias were weakened by their defeat at the hands of the one-eyed black dragon, a group of familias led by malevolent gods emerged. This group would eventually come to be known as Evilus. Among the strongest familias in Evilus were the Apate and Electo familias, both integral to Evilus. The Hestia Familia, led by the goddess of justice Hestia, inevitably found themselves in conflict with Evilus. Their clashes culminated in a devastating battle on the 27th floor against the Rudra Familia, a member of Evilus. The battle inflicted severe damage to the dungeon, triggering the appearance of the Juggernaut, a force of destruction that massacred much of Evilus and wiped out the entire Hestia Familia, leaving only Lion as the sole survivor. Unable to recover the remains of her fallen comrades, Ryu brought what she could to the 18th floor and laid them to rest there. In the aftermath, the Freya Familia, alongside Findian, the master strategist of the Loki Familia, and the Ganesha Familia, launched coordinated attacks on the remaining Evilus bases. Fueled by grief and rage, Ryu abandoned her familia and embarked on a relentless crusade to hunt down and eliminate the remaining members of Evilus. One by one, she eradicated them, all except for Jura, who managed to survive her wrath. Some time ago, the Hostess of Fertility was founded after its owner retired from adventuring. Sir worked there as a waitress, and her presence led to Anya, Chloe, and Lunoir joining. Sir also helped save Ryu after she fell into depression following the loss of her familia. During Belle's childhood, his grandfather would read to him from a book that contained much knowledge about the world, explaining both the world of heaven and the world in the dungeon. The first chapter of the story was titled Argonaut, and the last chapter was called Albert. Belle leaves the book on the table and leaves his house. 6 months before the events of the story, Hestia descended to the world of the living, but struggled to find followers. Belle moved to Oratoria, where he struggled to find a familia to join because of his low level. Eventually, he and Hestia crossed paths, leading to the formation of the Hestia Familia. Belle began undertaking missions, and, during one, encountered a mentor that had escaped from the Loki Familia. Just in time, A's Wallenstein arrived and saved him, earning Belle's admiration. Every day after adventuring, Belle would meet Sir at the Hostess of Fertility, where she would give him a bento to take with him on his next journey.